The neon sign of Rusty's Auto Repair flickered in the twilight as Marcus Thompson wiped grease from his calloused hands. The small-town garage had been his life for 15 years, inherited from his father who taught him everything about engines and honest work. Tonight was supposed to be like any other close-up shop, head home to his small apartment, maybe catch the game on TV. That changed when the shimmer appeared. At first, Marcus thought it was heat waves rising from the asphalt, but the autumn air was cool. The distortion grew, taking shape near the garage's entrance. Within seconds, a figure emerged tall, with skin that seemed to shift between deep indigo and starlit black, like the depths of space itself. "Your establishment repairs mechanical conveyances." The voice was melodic yet distinctly inhuman, resonating in Marcus's chest like distant thunder. Marcus gripped his wrench tighter, years of small-town living warring with what his eyes were telling him. That's what the sign says. The being stepped forward, revealing elegant robes that seemed to flow like liquid metal. "I am Ambassador Zenaval of the Celestial Concordat. My vessel's quantum stabilizer has malfunctioned, and my research indicates this region's technical expertise resides with you." Marcus laughed nervously, running a hand through his salt and pepper hair. "Look, I work on Fords and Chevys, not whatever you're talking about. Your reputation for innovative repairs extends further than you realize, Marcus Thompson. The Concordat has been monitoring Earth's development, and your solutions to seemingly impossible mechanical problems have not gone unnoticed." Marcus's mind raced. Those impossible repairs, the engine that started after being submerged for weeks, the transmission he'd fixed when even the manufacturer said it couldn't be done. Had there been something more to his intuitive understanding of machinery? "Under Concordat protocol," Zenaval continued, "the first skilled individual encountered on a surveillance world becomes the designated technical liaison. Congratulations, Marcus Thompson. You are now Earth's first official representative to the galactic community." The wrench clattered to the floor as Marcus stared at the alien diplomat. His quiet life of oil changes and tire rotations had just become infinitely more complicated. Yet somewhere beneath the shock and disbelief, a spark of excitement ignited. Maybe this was what he'd been preparing for all along, fixing impossible problems in his little garage at the edge of town. "Well," he said finally, picking up his wrench, "I guess you better show me this quantum thing that needs fixing." Marcus followed Zenaval behind his garage, each step feeling more surreal than the last. The air shimmered again, but this time the distortion was massive. As if someone had drawn back an invisible curtain, a sleek vessel materialized before them. It hovered silently about the size of a small bus, its surface rippling with colors that reminded Marcus of oil on water. "Your cloaking technology is impressive," Marcus said, trying to sound professional despite his racing heart. "But won't someone notice?" "The human tendency to rationalize the extraordinary is remarkably reliable," Zenaval replied. "Most would perceive this as atmospheric distortion or dismiss it entirely. Those who don't." A slight musical tone colored their voice, almost like amusement. "Well, there's a reason we chose a small town for initial contact." The vessel's hull seemed to melt away, revealing an entrance. Inside, Marcus found himself in what looked like a cross between an engineering bay and a modern art installation. Crystalline structures pulsed with internal light, and holographic displays floated in the air. "The quantum stabilizer," Zenaval gestured to a complex array of interwoven energy patterns. "It maintains our ship's phase coherence during interstellar travel." Marcus approached cautiously, his mechanics instincts kicking in despite the alien technology. The energy patterns showed clear disruption, reminding him of interference patterns in engine timing. "These rhythms are off," he muttered, more to himself than the ambassador. "Like a misaligned timing belt, but in 4 dimensions. Zenaval's bioluminescent markings brightened with interest. "Fascinating. You perceive the temporal distortion without specialized training." "I've always had a knack for seeing how things should flow," Marcus replied, circling the stabilizer. "When something's wrong, I feel it here." He tapped his chest. "Dad used to say I had motor oil in my veins instead of blood." "Your father was more perceptive than he knew. Certain humans possess a natural affinity for mechanical harmonics that extends beyond your current technology. It's one reason Earth has been of particular interest to the Concordat." As Marcus studied the stabilizer, a holographic display erupted with alien characters. The Concordat isn't just here about broken ships, are they? He asked, nodding how the symbols pulsed in sync with the stabilizer's disruption. Perceptive indeed, Zenaval's voice carried a note of approval. Earth stands at a crucial junction. Your species' technological development is accelerating exponentially. Soon, you will either transcend your planetary boundaries or destroy yourselves trying. Marcus's hands moved almost instinctively, tracing patterns in the air that the ship's systems somehow recognized. The stabilizer's rhythm began to shift, its discord smoothing out. And if we succeed, what then? Then humanity joins the greater galactic community, but the transition must be handled delicately. Past civilizations have struggled with the revelation that they are not alone. The stabilizer's patterns suddenly aligned perfectly, its energy flow restored. Marcus stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. Is that why you're starting with a small-town mechanic instead of world leaders? Sometimes, Zenaval said, their form shifting like starlight on water. The best way to understand a species is through its ordinary citizens. Those who fix what's broken, who see patterns others miss, who face the extraordinary with practical wisdom. Marcus looked at his grease-stained hands, then at the advanced technology surrounding him. And what if I'm not ready for this responsibility? You already are, Marcus Thompson. You just fixed a quantum stabilizer using intuition and mechanical empathy. The question isn't whether you're ready, it's whether humanity is ready for what comes next. Morning sunlight streamed through the garage windows as Marcus tried to focus on changing Mrs. Henderson's oil. His hands moved automatically while his mind wandered to the events of last night. The quantum stabilizer repair had only been the beginning. A sonic boom shattered his reverie. The garage doors rattled as a second ship materialized in his parking lot, its design angular and aggressive compared to Zenaval's elegant vessel. 3 figures emerged, their bodies covered in what looked like crystalline armor, faces obscured behind reflective visors. This facility has been marked for diplomatic quarantine, the lead figure announced, its voice harsh and metallic. I am Enforcer Drax of the Hegemony Peacekeeping Force. The unauthorized contact must be contained. Marcus stepped forward, wiping his hands on a shop rag. This is private property and we're closed for lunch. He surprised himself with how steady his voice sounded. Zenaval emerged from the shadows of the garage, their starlit form seeming to absorb the morning light. The Hegemony has no jurisdiction here, Enforcer Drax. Earth falls under Concordat protection. The Concordat oversteps its bounds, Drax responded. Premature contact with developing worlds violates Treaty Article 7.3. Marcus watched the tension build between the two alien factions, remembering Zenaval's words about humanity's crucial junction. This wasn't just about a broken ship anymore. Article 7.3 has exceptions for naturally gifted individuals, Zenaval countered. Marcus Thompson's abilities qualify under the harmonic resonance clause. Your interpretation is convenient, Drax's armor shifted, revealing weapon-like protrusions. The Hegemony will not allow the Concordat to claim another strategic world through technical loopholes. Marcus stepped between them, years of breaking up fights between hot-headed customers taking over. Now hold on. If this is about Earth's future, shouldn't Earth have a say? Silence, primitive, Drax commanded. You cannot comprehend galactic politics. Maybe not, Marcus replied, but I understand when someone's trying to stack the deck. You're not here about treaties, you're here because the Concordat found something you wanted first. Zenaval's bioluminescence pulsed with approval. Precisely why he was chosen. Humans possess a remarkable ability to see through deception. The Hegemony maintains peace through control, Drax declared. Your species' chaotic development threatens stability. Funny thing about chaos, Marcus said, moving toward his toolbox. Sometimes it's exactly what you need. His hand closed around a spark plug he'd modified last night using principles he'd learned from the quantum stabilizer. This is your final warning, Drax raised his crystalline arm. Submit to Hegemony authority or face sanction. Marcus flicked the modified spark plug toward the Hegemony soldiers. It erupted in a cascade of quantum interference, temporarily disrupting their armor's power systems. Zenaval seized the moment, generating a containment field that immobilized the intruders. The Concordat Senate will hear of this outrage, Drax threatened as his systems struggled to recover. They'll hear how the hegemony violated multiple treaties by attempting armed intervention on a protected world, Zenaval countered. Leave now, while you can claim diplomatic immunity. After the hegemony ship departed, Marcus leaned against his workbench. I'm guessing this isn't over. No, Zenaval's form rippled with concern. The hegemony will return with greater force. We must prepare Earth for what comes next. And what exactly is that? A choice, Marcus Thompson. One that will determine not only Earth's fate, but potentially the balance of power in the galaxy itself. The next few days turned Marcus's garage into an unlikely diplomatic hub. Between oil changes and tire rotations, Zenaval taught him about galactic politics and quantum mechanics. His natural talent for understanding mechanical systems made him a quick study, though the implications troubled him deeply. You're saying Earth isn't the first world to face this choice? Marcus asked, tinkering with what looked like a regular carburetor but now contained alien modifications. The hegemony and Concordat have different approaches to integrating developing civilizations, Zenaval explained, their starlit form dimming slightly. Many worlds have faced this crossroads, not all chose wisely. A holographic display materialized, showing various planets. Some thrived with advanced technology, while others appeared scarred and lifeless. The hegemony offers quick technological advancement, but at the cost of autonomy. The Concordat believes in natural development, even if it takes longer. And these abilities of mine, they're not just about fixing engines, are they? Marcus watched as the modified carburetor began to hover, defying gravity. Your mechanical empathy is a rare gift. On some worlds it would be called magic, on others evolutionary advancement. The hegemony fears such unpredictable elements. Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of multiple vehicles pulling up outside. Marcus peered through the window to see black SUVs surrounding his garage. Men in suits emerged, led by a stern-faced woman in military dress. Marcus Thompson, she called out. I'm Colonel Diana Pierce, United States Strategic Command. We need to talk. Marcus exchanged glances with Zenaval, who had already activated their cloaking field. Looks like Earth's government's noticed something after all. He stepped outside, wiping his hands on his coveralls. Can I help you, Colonel? Our satellites detected unusual energy signatures in this area. Multiple witnesses report strange lights and impossible vehicles. She studied him intently. And every lead points to this garage. Just working on cars, ma'am, Marcus replied, keeping his voice steady. Nothing unusual here. Really? She held up a tablet showing thermal images of his garage, including clear evidence of advanced technology. Want to try that again? Before Marcus could respond, a deep rumble shook the ground. The sky darkened as massive shapes descended through the clouds, hegemony ships. Dozens of them, their crystalline hulls blocking out the sun. They're early, Zenaval's voice echoed as they decloaked beside Marcus, causing the military personnel to raise their weapons. The hegemony was supposed to wait for the Council's ruling. Colonel Pierce's training held despite her shock. Mr. Thompson, step away from the alien. That's not going to happen, Colonel, Marcus said, standing his ground. What's about to happen concerns all of Earth. The hegemony up there, they're not the friends they'll claim to be. And I suppose your alien is. Pierce's finger rested on her trigger. Neither of us has time for a standoff, Marcus said. Those ships aren't here for a friendly chat. They're here to force Earth's submission to their control, but we have a chance to choose our own path. A booming voice echoed from above, Enforcer Drax, now speaking to the entire planet. People of Earth, the hegemony offers you advancement beyond your dreams. Submit to our guidance, and your world will enter a new age of prosperity. They're broadcasting worldwide, Zenaval confirmed. Every major population center is receiving this message. Colonel Pierce lowered her weapon slightly. You know what's really going on here, talk fast. Marcus took a deep breath. Colonel, what's happening right now will determine Earth's future for generations. The hegemony offers quick advancement, but at the cost of our freedom. The Concordat, he gestured to Zenaval, they believe we should develop at our own pace, make our own choices. And why should we trust either of them? Pierce demanded. Because I've seen what both sides can do, Marcus replied, pulling out the modified carburetor. This is Earth technology merged with concordat principles, not given to us but developed together. The hegemony would just hand us everything, along with invisible chains. The Colonel's tablet erupted with alerts as hegemony ships began positioning themselves over major cities. They had minutes, at most, before humanity would be forced to make a choice that would echo through generations. The skis above Marcus's garage had become a theater of intimidation. Hegemony ships cast massive shadows over the town, their crystalline surfaces reflecting distorted images of the world below. Inside the garage, now a makeshift command center, Colonel Pierce coordinated with military leadership, while Marcus and Zenaval worked frantically on something that might give Earth a fighting chance. Global panic is spreading, Pierce reported, her tablet displaying news feeds from around the world. China's threatening to launch missiles, Russia's mobilizing their forces, and the EU's calling for immediate diplomatic contact. The hegemony counts on this chaos, Zenaval explained, their starlit form pulsing with urgency. Divided responses make conquest easier. Marcus's hands moved with practiced precision over what had once been his diagnostic computer, now integrated with concordat technology. How long before they make their move? Their energy signatures are building, Zenaval confirmed. They're preparing for mass deployment of submission fields, technology that will make Earth's population compliant. Like hell they will, Pierce growled, but her expression betrayed her concern. Earth's most advanced weapons would be useless against this level of technology. Marcus stepped back from his work, wiping sweat from his forehead. I think it's ready, but you're not going to like it. What exactly have you been building? Pierce asked. Remember how I said I can feel when machinery isn't running right? Marcus gestured to the modified equipment. Well, turns out that sensitivity goes both ways. With Zenaval's help, I've modified my garage's diagnostic system into something that can disrupt the hegemony's tech by making their machines feel wrong. You're going to give their ships a stomachache? Pierce's skepticism was clear. More like mechanical vertigo, Marcus explained. But to generate enough power, we'll need to tap into Earth's power grids, all of them. That would cause worldwide blackouts, Pierce protested. Better than worldwide enslavement, Marcus countered. But there's a catch. Someone needs to physically connect with the device. The feedback could be intense. You mean fatal, Zenaval stated quietly. The human nervous system was not designed for this level of mechanical empathy. The garage fell silent as the implications sank in. Outside, Enforcer Drax's voice boomed again. Your time for peaceful submission expires in 30 minutes. After that, we will ensure compliance through direct intervention. Colonel Pierce stepped forward. I'll do it. I'm trained for sacrifice. No, Marcus interrupted, already connecting cables to his arms. It has to be me. This connection, this understanding of machines, it's who I am. Maybe it's who I've always been meant to be. Marcus, Zenaval moved closer, their form shifting with emotion. There's something you should know. The Concordat. We didn't just find you by chance. We've been watching your bloodline for generations. Your gift isn't random, it's the result of ancient contact, dormant genes waiting to be awakened. Marcus paused, cables dangling from his arms. You mean I'm part alien? You're fully human, Zenaval corrected. But a human carrying the potential for something more. Your father's intuition with machines, his father's before him, all leading to this moment. Thunder rumbled overhead as the hegemony ships moved into attack position. Marcus looked at his hands that had fixed countless engines, solved impossible mechanical problems, and now might save Earth itself. Colonel, he said, his voice firm, I need you to give the order. Every power station, every grid, everything goes into this one shot. Pierce nodded grimly, already on her secure line. This is Colonel Pierce, authorization code Delta 90, initiate operation blackout on my mark. Marcus closed his eyes, feeling the hum of machinery around him, from the simplest car engine to the advanced alien tech. For the first time, he fully embraced his gift, letting it flood his consciousness. In that moment, he could feel every machine on Earth singing to him, and high above, the discordant notes of the hegemony ships waiting to strike.